Calling all beings, y'all. Let's get it.
Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Yeah! Welcome back to Calling All Beings. I'm your host, DJ San Marco, along with my co-host. What's this man's name?
Nathan, y'all.
That's what I'm saying. Nathan Owens.
That's right. What's up?
NFT Nathan is in the building, and we got our associate producer backstage. We finna introduce her, and her name is Akashi Chris.
Yes. The one and only.
But I'll tell you what, man, we got a special guest. I'll tell you what, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
On the same day that I first messaged this gentleman to come on the show, I messaged the press secretary for Joe Biden, and they got back to me the same day that Mataluni did. So it basically took an analogous amount of time to try to book President Biden as it did to book Mike Mataluni. But it's all worth it, man. He's so handsome. I'm so jealous. I love this guy. I love his vibe, his show. Shout out to Kristen Mataluni. So let's bring him on.
Yes.
All right. Party people, put those hands together for UCR's own, the Singularity Lab's own, Kristen Mataluni's own, Mr. Singularity Michael Mataluni. Yes! Woo! Put those hands together, Nathan. Where are you at? Michael Mataluni.
What did I walk into? I'm just excited. Okay, here's the reason I'm excited. First of all, because we have a scholar and a gentleman. I don't know.
Meet him.
Yeah.
We have a scholar and a very exuberant friend of mine, and I just wanted to say cheers to you guys. I was excited to take off the tie. I was excited to kick back and relax, and here we are. So thank you so much for this. This is great.
I'll tell you what.
Welcome.
The most handsome Italian brother in hashtag UFO Twitter right here, man.
I don't know about that, but what I do know is that the bald head goes a long way, as you've been obviously experimenting with.
I have, yeah. Unfortunately, not by choice. I'd rather look like Artemis's boyfriend Josh, but such is life. So,
Great hair.
Another one of my crushes, Josh. Yeah, he does, man. He looks heart bubble emoji for Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's an honor. All kidding aside, it's an honor to have you, sir. Regardless if it took me as long to get a hold of you as it took me to get a hold of President Biden.
You need to stop. That was not that difficult. We literally you reached out to me, and then yes, I agreed, and then what did I do? I forgot. I did.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I wasn't thinking about you the whole time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that I was still in your thoughts, and I you know what? But we got to do an audition right here for Luis before we get going. So we're gonna try it again. We're in the hospital. It's Godfather 1. You're Michael Corleone, and you're wheeling Don Corleone to another room because of the fact that the hospital's emptied out. There's no security. And they're coming to kill Don Corleone, and I'm Enzo the baker. So I come upstairs, and okay, here you are. You're wheeling the Don. You're gonna, and this is just a setup for me and Luis. You know that he's gonna do a scene with me, okay? Right. From Godfather 2, but that's beside the point. Right. All right, so here you go. So you're wheeling your father, and I'll be like, who are you? You're asking who I am. Come on.
Oh, who are you? Who are you?
I'm Enzo the baker. I come. I bring a cake. And you're like,
what did I say again?
Bad things about going down here, man. About to be trouble here.
About to be trouble. It's trouble on the way.
Oh, if there'll be trouble, I stay. For your father. For your father. So.
Line.
All right. So,
yeah,
that's good.
This is what it's like with me, Michael. Whenever I'm with DJ, we're doing the same. It's the same thing. So.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Let's get it. All right. All right, we're gonna get serious now.
It's Mamma Mia.
We're gonna start my paisan, Mataluni. We're gonna start talking about some serious stuff here. So
we are
so serious.
Yes, we're gonna get serious, man.
Can we talk about Baby Yoda too?
Absolutely.
Baby Yoda's gonna come in, man. The beautiful, the amazing, the positive, the incomparable Akashi Chris is gonna come in. But nonetheless, right now, Mike, I have been sort of looking into this notion of singularity in anticipation of you coming on.
Mm.
And as far as I can tell, if I understand this correctly, if I were to come to the Singularity Lab, I would come to the Singularity Lab. You make sure that I'm divorced. I emerge single. That makes me eligible, as far as I understand your theory, for hybridization. You could send me out. When the ETs show up, you have me breed with one of theirs. And that's the whole idea, is to promote singularity, therefore that I can sort of procreate with an extraterrestrial.
That's right.
Is any of that incorrect?
That's right. That's right. Well, that's the entire arc of the series. But thank you for ruining it for everyone, because what I attempt to do is build on this concept, but you've just destroyed the entire arc of the show. So thank you for that. It was good to be
see
here.
if my wife needs. Kati, can you grab me a tissue? I think she's out getting a Grimaldi's right now, so we can't. But anyway,
I kid, of course. That is not the theme of the show per se. Now, we explore the unknown as well. So for me to outhandedly, outright just throw that to the ground, I couldn't do it, because we're very open to the possibilities at the Singularity Lab.
Okay, well, hey, bring me some evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me data. We need more data. I want to be able to put it on the senator's desk and go, there, I proved it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nathan, it's your turn. Go ahead, sir.
It's all about, I mean, Michael, my sort of burning question here is, do you guys keep the headphones on, Kristen and Michael, when I know the bedroom's right there, right? So
we're in the bedroom. Yes.
So
yes,
it's just all the time, right?
Correct. Yeah. It actually helps, because this way we can only communicate to one another while we're live streaming. It's what we found is that it's a key to a healthy marriage.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pitch that to my wife as well and see how
that's right.
She goes for that one.
Just keep them on. If I'm upset, she doesn't have to hear about it. If she's upset, I don't have to hear about it. And then we live stream once a week, and then we work out our marital problems in front of the audience. It's great.
It's to me, yeah. And how close are you guys to the new place? That's happening.
Very close. We're super excited. We've got we've never built a house before, and we're building a house now. We actually stumbled upon it after it was already being built, so none of the specs were ours. We didn't design anything. Yeah. But we're super excited about it. We're currently living in 1,650 square feet with 3 teenagers, a 16-year-old, 2 18-year-olds are our children. And so this is going to allow us to spread out a little bit, not hate each other as a family. It's going to be great.
Huge. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, before we get into the UFO talk, I really am curious, because if I understood correctly in prior discussions that you're in digital marketing, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, sir. I do charge for my services. So if this was...
He's going to be billing us for this now.
Oh, my God. I hope you're cheaper than my attorney.
Cheers.
Brilliant move. Yeah.
Go on. You're actually on the clock now, DJ.
Yeah.
Luis, if you're sending me an invoice, I'm going to put return the sender on it. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that's my day gig. I own a small boutique marketing agency where I help entrepreneurs. I help the majority of my business is actually photographers who teach people how to do photography. And so I run Facebook ads, and I help them get clients for their businesses. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I was really curious, because I think I'm not sure exactly how you and Luis connected initially on UCR, but perhaps you'd like to tell about that, because you guys your show's amazing. Your show is like an incredible.
Well, we have a dynamic like you and Nathan. You know what I'm saying? Like we have one of us who's absolutely insane. That's you, DJ.
That's you.
And then we have the more grounded, grounded one. That's Nathan.
Yeah.
And so Luis and I so I was doing some work for the Debrief, and I was helping them to get their YouTube channel off the ground.
Nice.
And then Luis, I guess, probably saw me there, and then he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to come on and do an interview. So we did an interview, and like the the people in the chat were like, "You guys have amazing chemistry," and you know, I was like, "I already have a wife," and they were like, "No, but you do it anyway." And so they were like, "Yeah," we were just like, "Okay, cool." Like we just found that we had this really cool chemistry, and then so he approached me about his insane idea of this weird concept called the big phone home, and I was like, "That's stupid." He was like, "No, it's not," and I was like, "You're right, it's not." And he was like, "Would you be interested in helping me to host it?" And then he's like, "And build the website and market it."
And do like several $1,000s worth of work pro bono.
Exactly, that's exactly right. And I was like, "Sure, man." Like it's for me, the UFO topic has always been an interesting topic. And I was like, let's do this. This is I want to know more, and if we can pressure our government into giving us more information, amazing. Like it's a cool idea, and I had no idea what it would turn into. No idea we'd end up doing another one. No idea we'd be streaming 5 days a week.
Incredible.
For quite a while. It all happened very quickly.
Head spinning.
And you're going to launch other personalities as well. Obviously, you've already done that. So I think that's super exciting, and you guys do have a great chemistry. Nathan, sort of stewed on this topic for many years before jumping in, swan diving in both hands and feet. What was the moment for you where you said, because obviously I'm assuming that you were consuming this product, meaning UFO media, prior to you diving in. What was that moment?
Honestly, okay, so I actually had a sighting of my own when I was 11. My whole family saw some pretty wild stuff. We were on the Gulf Coast, and we saw some multiple different colored lights way over the ocean doing some truly extraordinary things. And my uncle, my mother, my aunt, like the whole family saw this thing, and we had no idea what to make of it. That was really exciting. That's what kind of, took my interest when I was a kid. But I had always been I was always into the Loch Ness Monster. I was always into the pyramids, like any mystery on Earth. Like these are the things that I was fascinated by. I was a huge sci-fi nerd.
Yeah.
When I ditch the tie, I wear Yoda.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my beginning to it. And then, I went off to college and then completely forgot about all the cool stuff I was into and tried to, blend in and be a part of society. And then I got irritated with that once I started taking philosophy and psychology classes in college, and I ditched college and went to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I grew out my dreadlocks and I hitchhiked across the country. And then
I love this. I love this. You're a hiking guy?
Yeah.
I did 800 miles of the Appalachian Trail. I did 100 miles barefoot.
What?
Because I thought that would be cool.
Mataluni, I love barefoot hiking.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. I have probably photos and videos of me doing that. Love it. Yeah.
We are brothers from another uncle.
We are.
Just
We're
bringing it
bald.
together.
One of us is good looking. Anyway, yeah, continue on with the story.
I'm pretty sure we're both pretty damn hot up in Hill.
Look at those shades, man.
Yeah, look at the shades. Look at the shades. Okay, not so much the profile view, but go back to the straight.
You did say we're gonna make him cry, so here we go.
If Mataluni thinks he's taking over the show, there's no way. I understand that energy.
What is this, the Mike Mataluni show?
I know what he's trying to do.
I get
it's
it.
not going to happen, Mataluni.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
I'm like, where do you live in Florida? He's like, I am not telling this dude anywhere within 700 miles of what city I live in.
Yeah.
But I bet you it's Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. But
well, UFO Twitter's known for doxing people, so I just go ahead and dox myself.
Dude,
I'm in Orlando.
Oh, so Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater wasn't very far off.
Not
Cheers.
far at all.
From Destin. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Destin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's like almost where I saw my freaking UFOs.
Wow.
Real Emerald Coast. The Emerald Coast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember. I'll have to find out from my mom or my dad. He remembers it more vividly than I do.
What was your reaction? Was there holy S coming at it? What
we were
was
in
the-
shock. We saw like it was multiple objects, multiple colors, and then the movements, the patterns of movement were just extraordinary. We were seeing like 90-degree turns, and it was something else, man. Like I can't believe it. I can't believe what we saw.
Wow.
I had a sighting as well, but ironically, like McGrillen and Luis's sightings are the two most amazing sightings that I've heard on from sort of like these content creator types.
Luis is wild.
Particularly Luis.
He talks about like, you know, when people talk about nuts and bolts, like that's what Luis saw. He saw some nuts and bolts shit. I was like, how on earth do we have some sort of UFO that is nuts and bolts? Like, I'm thinking metamaterials. I'm thinking molecular atomic structures with no seams and shit. And he's seeing like bolts, like, you know, crazy. Anyway, he has an extraordinary experience.
Yeah, minutes long. The key to it, I think, is the length of it. Like my sighting I had when I was 14 was a couple of seconds of seeing something that I knew was anomalous just from being a kid that was an aviation junkie from a young child. And what Luis described was minutes long. So, I mean, you're like, oh my God, it has this and it has that and it's doing this. And I see there's all kinds of details that you could take in after your mouth closes because you're like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a fascinating topic, though.
Yeah.
But Nathan, a lot of hot airs come out of him. I'm sorry.
I could listen to you guys talk all day. I think it's great. But I'm really curious, Michael. So on your show, you know, focused on technology, futurism, that kind of stuff. Is it becoming more UFO centric? I mean, or do you
So it's actually the goal is to shift it away from UFOs.
Okay.
Even though I am fascinated with it, my goal is to really, and if there's a UFO connection to the singularity, because you know this stuff fascinates me, like this whole idea of future humans and post singularity humanity coming back from the future. Like maybe there is this connection, and that's kind of what. Because, you know, when I got into the debrief and then I got back into UFOs, and then what I wanted to do was kind of like what the debrief does. Like they don't just focus on UFOs, they focus on defense, they focus on technology, they focus on science. And so I wanted to do all those kinds of things, but I've just been, you know, really preoccupied with UFOs lately. So that's why the show has been a lot of UFOs, but we do, you know, want to continue to focus on and develop the show. You know, when it comes to breaking technology and science and futurism. And one of the things that I love about futurism so much is it's everyone's terrible at it. Like nobody's ever been very successful at futurism. So I love the fact that we can kind of be funny and silly and have a good time and be entertaining when talking about futurism, because everyone's so bad at it.
We're never going to get it right. Yeah.
No.
You know, we're horrible at that. Predictions are humans are very short-sighted, right? We can't really think or imagine what the future will be like. I mean, there are a few people who get it right, but most people fail.
Most people do. We went back in one of our early episodes and we were going through all these really bad predictions, and one of them was from like a head of state in the UK or something, and he was talking about how railroad will never be a major form of transportation due to the potential for human asphyxiation.
Yeah,
I was like, human asphyxiation?
Can't breathe on the train.
You get the wind in the train, dude. It's gonna kill you.
Think about it. Okay.
Just think about it.
I love it, man. I think Mataluni's buzzed. I'm kind of digging this. Mike, would you toast me, please?
I'll toast you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, my friend.
So,
Nathan,
somebody asked what I mean by futurism. Futurism is just the idea of thinking about the future, what's coming, and if in trying to put the pieces together and the momentum and the direction of human civilization today, and trying to project forward what it might be. And I think you make a great point, Nathan, that it's very difficult to do that because of exponential growth, and things change, and things you haven't conceived of today that will exist tomorrow will have a huge impact on the next 10 years. And it's very difficult to scope that.
That's right. Well, if you have a show on the Singularity Lab, you must be familiar with the works of Lee Kurzweil.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
you know, yeah, there it is back there.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So how close in your, you know, everybody, we're just talking about predictions here, but how close do you think we might be to something that might be close to that, or achieving artificial general intelligence? You know,
don't celebrate that, Mike. I studied David Hansen and Hansen Robotics.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
and Boston Dynamics and Bob Raver's
Dude, Boston
company.
Dynamics is wild.
What happens when they meet, Mike?
It's gonna be sexy.
What
Whatever
happens
happens,
when
it's gonna be sexy.
When Sophia meets that Titan thing? I'm serious, man. I mean, I think Nathan and I have some concerns about AI based, and actually Akashi does as well. Has some concerns about what the future of AI is, and I think I did a couple of papers about that a few semesters ago. So
You did?
Yeah, man. I just graduated.
Oh,
last
you're smart
year, man.
too.
Look at this guy.
No. no. But
I thought you were just funny. Now I know you're smart.
well, obviously you weren't paying attention on the big phone home. No, I'm just kidding. All right. No, I do like to approach this from a comedic nature, but I have a couple tricks in my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's wily like that.
He is.
and listening skills are
I mean,
quite
just
high.
look at that shirt.
Mike, we have some Nathan. Actually, hopefully he's going to bring this out later. Nathan, I really hope you do because I really want to hear you bounce this hypothesis off Mike and see what his thoughts on it, because you expressed some concerns regarding how the intelligence would approach us. But before we get to that, because we're on some
I'm
singularity
so excited.
business
Yeah.
up in here,
Yes.
do you have concerns, Mike, about general AI and what that could mean? Because I will tell you that if you look at some of the writings in, I don't know if it's Scientific
How long is this
American-
question?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mataluni, tackle it.
In order to tackle this question, I think it's important.
No
to
more framing. Done.
Yep.
Allow me to frame my response, please. So, just for folks who don't know, give me 10 seconds. You have narrow AI, which is like your Facebook algorithm, right? And so that's what I do every day. I run Facebook ads, and Facebook finds people who are interested in the products that I'm selling, and because they notice who's interested by clicks, then it finds more people who are likely to click. It's very intelligent, but it's very narrow. It's stupid in the broad text, but it's very smart in a very narrow text. And then you have AGI, which you're talking about, is artificial general intelligence, and that's like your C3PO. That's like a machine that can learn like a human being and respond to stimuli and solve problems like a human being can. And then you have ASI, which is artificial superintelligence. And if you've ever watched Westworld, in the last season, they have that robot god that basically figures everything out for everybody. That's an ASI. So what was your question?
So, see, you made a big show, Mataluni, and you got 3 flat tires right now.
No.
Okay.
Pull over.
All right, pull over. I have to fix a flat.
Now that I've properly framed the question for you, go on.
You totally bombed on the question.
Yeah.
I just saw 2 satellites crash in a 100-mile orbit.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
Yeah. Should we be concerned?
Should we be concerned? Because what I'm talking about, I started to type it here in the chat so that Nathan could read it. But when you're applying humanistic tendencies to the programming of general AI, and we know what those laws are, there's that I think 3 laws that are supposed to be applied to a general law, right? But what do you see are the dangers when we have a humanistic tendency and you apply that to general AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. So,
see, Nathan? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, when you apply it to, when we're seeing the repercussions right now with narrow AI, right? We're seeing people in echo chambers and social media bubbles who are only getting refed back the information that they want to believe, and their biases are confirmed, blah, 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 right? That's what's happening now with artificial narrow intelligence. When we get to AGI, I think the question you're really asking is it going to wake up? Is it going to become self-conscious or self-aware that it would potentially be like, hey, humans, we don't need you anymore. Skynet, right? So I actually don't, that's not a fear that I have. I actually don't see that happening. I think
Humanistic tendencies.
to be optimistic. Wait, which?
No, because you're dealing with you just expressed some concerns about the programming of narrow AI. So what happens when you apply those same tendencies, the business tendency, the person who might just be evil but happens to have people working for him that are willing to put, the same way
So
that
you're not
Nazi
talking about
Germany
Skynet or AI waking up. You're talking about serving evil bias or evil tendencies from their human masters. Yes. That's probably the bigger concern. Like that's probably what we need to be far more concerned about. And that's one of the things that, even in my show introduction, who's writing the software that will control the AI of the future? And that's my biggest concern, because we do know that self-serving capitalistic interests will be prioritized over the human perspective. But that being said, if we start to see, and one of the things that everyone is so afraid of is robots are going to take over everything, right? Robots are going to, and this was, you look at Andrew Yang, like that's his entire platform was, we are going to automate away all our jobs. And that is happening in a factory setting.
Yeah. Plus UBI.
Plus UBI. Right. Well, but the UBI was supplemental to the jobs that were going to be lost to automation, right? That's the whole point. And so when you have that coming at you have to think drastically when it comes to what's headed out. Now, there are so many jobs that can't be automated. And we're also seeing this kind of weird, interesting play between humans and AI and robots. And so you're going to see robots taking jobs, but you're also going to be seeing higher level jobs of humans working with robots and working with AI. So for example, like right now, even with the narrow AI that I'm using for marketing, it's still dumb that I have to, like, if I wasn't there, it would just crash and burn. Like I have to constantly be pushing buttons and pulling knobs and keeping it, and thinking strategically. Yeah. So when we have AGI, I think it's going to be the same, but exponentially bigger. And again, humans are terrible at futurism and I'm really dumb. So there's no way I could even come close to answering that question. But what I can tell you is that what we're seeing now is going to be exacerbated, and we need to create filters in order to ensure that, the human, on the bottom rung of the ladder is not left behind.
Yeah.
I just wanted, before we bring in Akashi Chris, our amazing associate producer.
Mm-hmm. Associate. Gotta say, can I shout out Akashi Chris real quick, because she has been so extraordinary in helping with UCR and the Singularity Lab and creating these amazing deep fakes under the tutelage of Grant. And like the fact that she's been so supportive is just amazing. So I just feel like I needed to give her a shout out, because she is truly awesome. When did she start producing your stupid show?
She can't. Hey, Mataluni.
I'm kidding.
Your ass is going to be backstage in 2 seconds.
He's out of here.
I'm gonna check you, Mataluni.
This is your fault. You were the one who said you were the one who said we were having cocktails.
I know. Your fault. I want you to be able to control.
I'm usually way nicer.
I want you to be able to control yourself. All right. So, I don't think it was Scientific American, but there is a professor at Georgia Institute of Technology named Ron Arkin, and he was working on a DARPA initiative that was supposed to teach, basically, he was teaching hide and seek to 2 robots. So deception was the goal. Mm. And Nathan's heard this, so forgive me, Nathan, but I wanted to present this to Mike. And with that deception, he wrote an article about how concerned he is, because if I can teach these robots, if they have AI and I teach them to deceive, then what happens if my personal robot at home decides that it knows what's better for me in a given situation? So we're not talking about some person that's sitting down at the bait and tackle shop going, them damn computers, I don't know what the hell they're going to take over the world. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who made the experiment, created the experiment with he and his students. So I think that's a legitimate concern by someone who's not a layperson.
I would completely agree with you if you weren't wearing sunglasses inside.
It's hard to take it.
Never mind. Put it back on. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Pains him, Michael. When you take them off, he becomes unleashed. We have to.
It's a
I'm
taming
restrained.
mechanism. It's like blinders on a racehorse.
Exactly. That's why we have them on. That's exactly.
I'm the thoroughbred of this show. I'm an Arabian, Michael.
You gotta be careful.
I didn't come over on a ship, my friend. I came over in a 767.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, that's a legitimate
I'm
concern.
now.
And really, honestly, Mike, when you look at Dave Hansen, you know, he moved his company to Hong Kong to avoid, to basically, so basically, what I heard from Ron Arkin and people like Jan, I'm trying to remember the guy who created Skype. If you know the gentleman that I'm talking about, but Elon Musk.
Where's young Jamie? Don't we have young Jamie? Isn't that?
You are young, Jamie. You're probably younger than me, Mataluni. So, but basically, they were concerned. They're asking for regulation. When do you find someone who's a creative person, an artist? Essentially, they're digital artists of a different type than Akashi, Chris, and Grant. One love to both you guys, but a different type of a digital artist is saying, no, I think we need regulation, like for real.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you're actually seeing it with Facebook now. They're going, okay, we're overwhelmed. We can't. There's no way we can be.
Can't control it.
There's no way we can be freedom of speech aficionados and content moderators at the same time. You just can't do both simultaneously. So you do need some legislation in place. Now it took Facebook, a botched election, and no, it took a lot of shit. Let's just say this. Let's take politics out of it. It took a lot for Facebook to go, we need some regulation up in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't break us up. We'll take some regulation.
Exactly. Please don't take Please don't take my Instagram. Please don't take my WhatsApp. Yeah. You know, we need some regulation. So that being said, I think you make a really strong argument here, DJ. I never thought I'd say that out loud.
It's not gonna work. You're not gonna bring me down, man.
That's all I was doing. I was like, it's gonna happen. Like, I'm just gonna drop this on him.
Yeah, you can fire away, but I've got armor.
Nathan didn't even budge. She's like, "What's your fucking point, Mataluni?" All
right, bring on Akashi, Chris, because Mataluni is rambling about how much he loves and respects me. So go ahead, Akashi, Chris.
Akashi, Chris.
Look how beautiful this person looks, man.
Associate producer.
There she is.
That's all I'm hearing is associate producer.
It's a good gig.
I like it.
Yeah,
I feel like David Byrne. Like, how did I get here? I like one day I was talking to my husband about this UCR show, and next I'm associate producer. I'm just kidding.
Life comes at you.
Associate producer. It's me and DJ chatting on DM. That's the associate producer.
Yep, someone's got it.
What about this? Cool.
Yeah, somebody's got to talk to him.
Everybody's bringing love to, and you are too, Mike. So don't try to pretend you're not to the audience and try to be with the cool crowd. Mike talks to me. So no, there's a lot of love here. Everybody has in common, and that we all have a lot of love for this community, and I'm
really appreciating this, by the way, because it can be a little volatile out there in the real folk community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling the love. I'm appreciating the love right now.
Yeah.
And you know, at the close of the show, we have a little bit of a surprise for you, Mike, where it'll become self-evident how much we really love the community. But that's for later. So, Akashi, Chris.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey guys,
welcome,
Mike Mataluni. I can't believe I get to. Do I get to ask him a question?
Yes.
Because I actually have one.
Before
I have a two-parter. Can I ask Mike? Yeah, I
actually
have to take notes. Okay, this is what UCR has done to me. That I actually look into, like, quantum physics and stuff, and I used to follow the Kardashians. How did I get here?
I feel that is a win.
How did I get here? I know. Thanks, UCR. Thanks, calling all beings. So here's my question. So actually, this is a serious question that's all going to make sense with like a serious question with a woo kicker.
Okay. Ooh.
Is there an echo on my mic?
I don't
know,
know,
ma'am.
Okay,
you sound
awesome.
good. You sound great.
So I was wondering, and I've been this show has taken a different direction since I wrote this question.
Lou's in the audience. Lou said hi.
Yeah, there we go.
What's up? Hey, Lou, man, we did an audition for you and you weren't even here.
He's already
Come
back
on,
in the.
Lou.
He's already in the Discord. He's already gone.
Yep.
He's gone.
Hard to keep
That
up.
was like a very brief sighting.
It's like DJ sighting.
Did it really happen?
Don't make
Did it
fun of my
really
sighting,
happen?
Mataluni. I had a witness there. I wasn't alone, okay?
Is this a mass sighting? I don't know.
I don't know.
Evil woman, but he's a man. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So here's my question. So, I've been. Let me see how I'd even word this. I'm sorry if I'm going to trip all over it. But what are your thoughts on the concept of quanta being connected? Like if we're really talking like string theory, like mega strings, or where everything's connected via vibration, right? So it's like a one big network. So what are your thoughts on that even being, a true theory, a potential that we could ever get to?
Yeah, I actually keep that very much on the table in my own thinking. I had a philosophy teacher in college who talked about something called energy monism. Basically, the idea that everything is connected. We're all part of one vibratory essence and material. And this is the thing. Like, remember in high school when you were learning about like atoms and molecules, and remember and they had the diagrams and they all look like billiard balls. That's so wrong. It's so wrong. Like it's energy vibrate. These are energy packets that don't have any distinct boundary. They're bound by what we can see, but that's not how they actually exist. They actually are pure energy radiating in sort of energy packets. Yeah. And then you get down to quantum physics and you start to realize now they exist in superpositions and you can't ever really tell where they're going to be. So I'm somebody who I'm also a musician, so this kind of like comes easily to me.
This is perfect for okay.
Yeah, so I truly believe everything is vibratory. Like the meat suits that we see ourselves in are really just energetic vibrations built upon layers and layers of energy and molecules and atoms. And you think about like the centered nucleus of an atom. If you were to look at the scope of that and the scale of that and measure it in an hour scale, you'd be talking about the pinhead of a pin, and the first electron would be in the outskirts of that 60,000 person stadium. So we're talking about extraordinary scale here. And so I really do believe that we're all just kind of energy vibrating, and this is all temporal. This is all temporary.
Yes.
This is fantastic because I'm sorry, I do remember my woodpecker.
Yeah, here we go.
It was a two-parter, but you can go ahead and toast.
No. Yeah,
we can take a break.
For the first, here's for the first part.
Nathan, refill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody refill, please, for
Mike.
the second part of my question.
Kristen Mataluni, can you please come in and refill Mike?
Wow.
She's not
Did
here.
Did you just snap your fingers?
She's not here. She's not here. I would never do that.
Yeah,
in her
The
I'm
word
just joking.
please.
I'm
The word
just joking.
please came out of my mouth. I can't
I'm
speak to
just
Mike
joking.
Grimaldi's brother over there, Mataluni, where we could coalesce over a margarita pizza. Go ahead.
I love margarita pizza.
So the
And you
reason
love
why I asked
Grimaldi's.
Yes.
the reason why I asked that question is actually because I'm more interested. I'm actually reading or listening to Science and the Akashic Field, which kind of took me down that path because obviously that's what my name is. I've been obsessed with the Akashic records and Akashic Field. So and I saw a post this morning made me think. Somebody was talking about repeat experiencers and how, and I can't remember who posted this, but it was awesome. It was like the fact that if they're meet once, they're connected and they've made that connection. And quanta can be aware of the other quanta, if I'm not mistaken, or hypothetically, even once it makes that connection, the idea is that it lives, that connection exists. So it was kind of taking me down the path of, is it possible plus remote viewing? A lot of remote viewing, could it be that they're getting access to Akashic records? Could there be some kind of quantum physical explanation of this?
Sure.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
done.
mean,
now
I'm
you can
no, I'm I mean, these are things that have fascinated me forever. Like I said, I quit college as a philosophy minor, grew out dreadlocks, and hiked the Appalachian Trail. So these are obviously questions that have always been on the top of my mind. As I get older and more annoying and more skeptical, I tend to step back and be like, okay, we've got to figure out a way to prove it with double-blind studies. We got to figure out a way to prove it with science. So I tend to not jump on the way I used to, but I don't like. I seriously do not discount the possibility of what you're saying, and we do know for a fact that, you know, at the molecular level, at the atomic level, we are all just energy vibrating. Like that is indisputable. With that being said, virtually anything is possible. We just need to figure out how to ascertain the truth. And for, you know, at the macro level, at the human level, I think we can get a lot of answers that we're looking for. But the further we dive into the quantum realm, the less everything makes sense. And that's also part of what singularity means. Singularity means it's the point at which mathematics and science breaks down and it can no longer be explained through the mathematics that we've created. A black hole is a singularity. No scientist can mathematically explain to you how a black hole works. Yet we always rely on science for the answers. And I think it's so important for us to recognize science doesn't have all the answers, and it's a constantly evolving field, and we're always trying to develop new hypotheses to get to the truth. But that being said, once you get to the quantum realm, I just think I don't even know if human beings can get, I don't know if human beings can get there or fully understand what's really happening in the nature of the universe. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah.
And by the way, for anybody that uses the word Gobekli Tepe the most in this chat will get a free container of DJ Organic Skincare Formula.
Yes. Brought to you by our sponsor.
Gobekli Tepe, Gobekli Tepe, Gobekli Tepe, Gobekli Tepe, Gobekli Tepe.
It's already 1-0 DJ, but there you go. Oh no, actually no, Mike just pulled ahead of me by 7. But anyway. All right, Mike. I would love to get your feelings on this particular topic, but hopefully not a one-word answer. But in my mind, consciousness is ... Please finish that sentence.
In my mind, consciousness is an expression of an unlimited universe that had the wherewithal and ability to unfold itself through intelligent experimentation to create an existence within in an experience that has matter, right? So like for me, consciousness is the universe experiencing itself.
So no humanism involved in that whatsoever in your mind. It's not solely humanistic in your mind.
I don't think you can deconstruct consciousness the way we'd like to, which is also why I don't fear AI becoming sentient.
Well, it can't. I don't think it could.
Right,
because we don't know what. No. I'm going to say this because we don't know what feeling is. We can't explain. You couldn't explain feeling beyond just saying that word. We don't have now. So when Anjali talks about a higher density being and that they were able to convey to her much more than they're talking in my head, she goes, "That's not it." But there was much more that were conveyed when they communicated with me. So I take that to mean that she has a feeling, that she has an understanding, and maybe something broader that I don't have something in Merriam-Webster that I can use to express to you. But I don't think we can express what feeling is, and therefore I don't know that it could like.
Well, why don't you cry for us, and then you can express it?
Like, why don't you make us a Grimaldi's? But I think like energy. I don't know that it could be.
All I wanted to do was make Akashi laugh, and I've done that. Everybody have a great night.
Yes.
No, you're not getting out of here that easy, Mataluni.
Thank you for playing. Here's some nice party gifts.
No. I'm saying cannot be created nor destroyed.
Yes.
Like energy cannot be
Yes.
created nor destroyed.
Right.
Is the universe, does it have a consciousness maximizing function?
Wow, that's so direct. I think so. I mean,
No, but Nathan,
think so.
explain what you explain. Be more be more direct with it.
Is the pursuit of novel experience like a fundamental aim of the universe?
I think so, and I'm not. Again, like you can go watch like much smarter than people than me answer this question.
What?
Way smarter than me answer
You're
this question,
me.
but for but for me, I think I would hypothesize that the answer is yes, that the universe seeks expression, and so, but again, like that's a very human, that's a very egocentric, that's a very human-centric perspective, because we have consciousness. And so we also know that there are many planets in our solar system that are virtually lifeless. We know Mars may have molecular biology, but we haven't seen any intelligent life on Mars. Now, there could be many reasons for that, but I would argue that the universe is so vast that it's highly likely that there is life. It's teeming with life. That being said, if that's the case, the idea that all these amino acids are and consciousness can be reduced to simple electricity firing, like why why would it develop into such complex formations if there wasn't some sort of intelligence at the molecular or the atomic level? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Sure. Yeah, well, we have this capability to sort of look at what we do and what we have created and go, hey, like that seems really valuable, powerful, even beyond the capability of an ant. This is amazing. So this must be, the valuable thing that exists in the universe, this capability that we possess. At the same time, an ant probably could, if they could articulate it, might be able to tell us things about how they self-organize or how they accomplish what they do together, and say, hey, look at what we've done this is pretty amazing. So maybe the universe has an optimizing function for what we do as well.
Right.
They're very intelligent.
That's such a great point. And it's not about, and I wouldn't say that the universe is optimizing for human consciousness or human intelligence. What I would say is the universe is optimizing for complexity and growth and self-expression. So we are simply one form of that expression.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me phrase it this way. If you said earlier that we're looking at it from a human perspective, but my question would be, I can be empathetic to another human.
Can you?
That is different than me. Shut his mic off. I'm just kidding.
Unbelievable.
That was good. But what I'm saying, what I'm asking, no, Mike, a fair play, as the British would say, fair play to you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, could you have another perspective other than that? Because if you're trying to make an analysis of and I always criticize Neil deGrasse Tyson and some of these other idiots that say things like, why would they want to come here and see us? Which sounds like, again, like Vinny at the bait and tackle shop. Because how could you know what another intelligence would want?
Right.
You don't know what the hell I want.
Right.
So how could you know what another intelligence that we've never had verbal or any form of communication with,
and he's a
what
scientist.
They would find it? I know, which makes it more crazy.
And he's fascinated by how the world works.
Not apparently not, unless it's this world. But my question to you is that, are we capable of analyzing it from any other perspective other than human? Do any of us have that capability? Being that we have not made contact with this intelligence to give us another perspective.
Sure. Yeah,
I think the hubris of the human being to speculate on that is extraordinary, right? I think it's very egotistical of us to speculate on that. Now, we can have fun speculating on that, but at the same time, as a scientist, you have to recognize that people are holding on to your words as important and valuable in formulating their own ideas and opinions. So I think sometimes NDT takes that for granted and he forgets that. So, you know, I think it's hubris to speculate either way. Now, I'll go ahead and speculate either way. As a human being, we are incredibly interested explorers, but simultaneously, we are also driven by incentives. And so human beings didn't go to the moon because they were explorers. They went to the moon because they were fighting for supremacy, for the Cold War. We wanted to win in our race against other people. So there's definitely a competitive nature, and I don't think we should look at ourselves simply as graceful explorers. We have to remember that we are incentive-based creatures, and that we will act and react based on how we're, you know, how those incentives are being fulfilled. That being said, you know, we do very much love to find new things. We love to see new things, and so we have to entertain that as an aspect of consciousness, and potentially an alien species could have that, and we have to keep that on the table at all times, or else our hubris is beyond our capabilities.
So I'm going to bring in. We have to bring in Grant's question first, and as soon as we answer and entertain Grant's question, we're going to bring in Stephen Greer's flair. So he's got the buttons.
I love Stephen Greer's flair.
But so we're going to bring him in, and we're going to entertain Grant's question. But I just want to say it's
Grant's
totally
here too?
it's grounded in normality to know that we're not capable of another perspective. His is the less NDT, as you call him, is the less curious perspective of all of us that are involved in this community who are interested. But we're not capable of a perspective that goes beyond humanistic at this point, or humanism. That's all we have. We don't, once one of us makes, I should say that. Now, when I say that, the experiencers may have an advanced perspective beyond ours because they've made contact, they've communicated, they've been among them. But for those of us that haven't had that experience, this is where we are. We can't go any further.
Right.
Please bring in Grant. Thank you for entertaining. Grant, bring in Grant's question, please.
He's asked a couple of. So let me find.
Start with the first one, and then we'll bring in Stephen Grant.
The one I just posted was Grant.
Mataluni.
Wait, but that's the second part. Grant, Yoda, where are you?
Hold on.
Did you
Grant.
question?
I saw it earlier.
He loves some Mataluni, man. He knows Mataluni's better looking than me. I've accepted it.
Grant has been so supportive
He's amazing. I love
of
him.
UCR and the Singularity Lab, and he helps me cut my clips. Like, the guy's amazing.
There we go. And Akashi, Chris. We don't have words. I'm verklempt, Mike. Linda Richmond.
I love Yoda.
Coffee talk. Poor bald.
I'll give you a coffee.
All the feels.
Barbara!
From Grant.
Barbara!
So let me ask this question so we can have the show. Kudos to Mataluni and the good work he does at TSL. Yes, cheers to that. As Skinwalker Ranch continues to serve as a living laboratory of all things UAP high strangeness, do you think ASRO would collaborate with Brandon Fugel?
ASRO.
And please, when you say high strangeness, please do the quotation marks in honor of Dr. Hynek, please.
That's right. ASRO is formed.
Pipe, please, Nathan.
Wait, what is ASRO?
Yeah, Nathan. My brother.
Careful, I'll buzz my pipe out.
That's right.
That's my break out that pipe, baby. Let's get some Arthur Conan Doyle up in his joint.
I'm asking Grant.
Anomalous studies resolution office or something. It's the new group. Right.
Okay, so kudos. Do you think ASRO would collaborate with Fugel? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I don't think so. I think there's too much of a history with OSAP and ATIP when it comes to Skinwalker Ranch, and I think the ASRO will want to keep that at bay with a 20,000-foot stick, because they're not going to be want to be associated with dino beavers. They're not going to be want to be associated with any of the high strangeness. I think they want to look for nuts and bolts. And so I don't think they can get the credibility and the funding that they want unless they stick to nuts and bolts. Now, that's, whether or not they should or should not, that's another question. But I think that they will not want to at all. I think it's going to be a purely nuts and bolts. I think it's going to be scientific, like Galileo project. I have a very hard time seeing this be anybody's pet project. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I just want to add that, in my opinion, if the government has already owned this particular property, then hired, brought in its own people, contractors and GS employees, and then actually sold it, and Bob Bigelow took it over and sort of investigated the property under the auspices of the government, I don't think that they have a further interest in this point, because whatever threat it poses is not existential in the terms of, let's say, invading specific airspace that are related to Navy training areas, so on and so forth. So to them, it's an interesting, cool little bit of high strangeness, but I don't think that when you're talking about spreading DoD dollars right now, which is, I can tell you, is extremely tight right now.
Right.
And
you can't. Yeah, and also it's very easy for the government to. We've never been in a point in history where we had so many drones in existence, and so when you have the ability to look for anomalies in the sky and you have drones, it's such an easier sell to the American people, because they're like, oh, we're just trying to defend our airspace. Like, that's an easy sell to the American people.
Sure.
Selling Sasquatch taking down your nukes, not so easy.
No.
So I definitely think they're going to take that approach to it, because there's no way there's no way you can't support defending our airspace from potentially anomalous aerial phenomena.
Yeah.
There's
Can I just say one thing on that? I'm
yes,
sorry.
ma'am. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
I mean, it's so unfortunate, because, I mean, that place has to have, there's a big piece of the puzzle, and maybe a small piece of the puzzle that seems to lie there. And just because it's not a threat, let's just dismiss it. We're missing the point.
Yeah, I don't think
mean-
it's about just dismissing. I think it's about selling it to the American people and getting funding.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, like, even if there is something to be gained from that, do you think that you can sell it to the American people? I think that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whether or not there's a good case for it or not. I'm just saying, can they get funding for it? And I would have to believe that they wouldn't mess with it, because they don't want to be associated with the paranormal. They're more interested in identifying objects that are unknown.
Sure. Well,
I want to drill down on this on three aspects. One is, to be honest, it's not really selling it to the American people. It's really selling it to the people who hold the purse strings, and that's Congress. So
True.
Whether Nathan and you and myself and Akashi and all four of us right here agree that we should be investigating that place as much as possible to see what's going on there, well, we all agree with that. It's only those 50 people and those I'm trying to remember how many people are in Congress now, and I 435 that are in the House that really matter, because they hold the purse strings. And as I mentioned earlier, we're in a situation right now where money is a big issue right now, and I'm telling you that it's a big issue. So let's go to what Mike would do if Mike was out in his aircraft with a sensor and a piece of a recording hard drive. One of the things that you guys may not be aware of is that when aircraft are out flying now and there's a sensor feed up, that feed is now going over through satellites to very many places. Yeah. So it's not only the people on that aircraft or even on that ship that are watching it, but there are other places that can say, I want to see that feed, and they'll be watching. And if you remember when the bin Laden raid happened, you remember that you saw a general sitting in a laptop in the White House with President Obama and Hillary Clinton staring over his shoulder. That guy used to be my group commander, but that's another story. Brigadier General Brad Webb back then. But anyway, the point is that feed is going to many other places, not just the White House. So what that means is that if Mike decides that if they tell Mike, hey, I want you to capture that imagery, doesn't cost them a penny to be able to collect every bit of data that Mike has when he's up flying and he sees something and he keys the mic and says, I see X. And then everybody in the control room goes, and they start looking at their feed and going, I want every bit of that. And they call Mike's call sign and he's like, Roger. And then he collects every bit of that. He yanks his hard drive at the end of the mission, and then we get to analyze all of that data. So that doesn't cost them a penny. Other types of what we're talking about, spending money to send people out to Skinwalker, or things that involved launching a mission or creating technologies that don't yet exist or deploying technologies is money. But Mike's already up there flying. All they're doing is saying, hey, we want to see that feed that he just got.
Yeah.
And that's how it's done.
Task it differently. But
it's free.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's already there. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm curious about here is really more the arc of ideas. So there are science. What it does is it exposes us to new ways of thinking, right? And the scientists who are on the sort of edge of discovery, they're the ones that are kind of going, oh, like this is now a fact about reality that I did not know before, but it's kind of obscure. It's obscure to it's relegated to the scientific community that is really like uncovering that or discovering it. That a new understanding of reality has to trickle into society. I mean, the best example of this is just how you see the word quantum like popping up all over the place now. Quantum this, quantum that. It's used just very flippantly. And people have a rudimentary understanding of quantum mechanics. But if we were to go back, let's say, 10, 15 years ago, you could ask people about quantum and they would not really know what the heck you were talking about. But I know these ideas are becoming prominent when you see them in movies. When they're in movies, then the concepts that were probably, quantum mechanics is not new. It's been around for decades, but it is in the public consciousness now. And so to the point earlier about how, is Congress ready? Congress is just a mirror of the American public. It's a mirror of our society. They're not a bunch of scientists, so we have to get them to a similar place, just like we have to get the general public to be acclimated to these concepts and consciousness. It may just require that we have a greater acclimation to quantum mechanics before we can really even get into the aspects of consciousness and the phenomenon that Skinwalker seems to represent. We're not quite at that place where we can have that conversation.
And in relation to high strangeness, right? Yeah. Could you imagine running for Congress and then you vote for ASRO, and ASRO is also going to Skinwalker about high strangeness, and then your competitor in your congressional race is running ads about you going, so and so voted for Bigfoot. You're just like, what?
What's sort of funny about that too, though, is the fact that we laugh about that. At the same time, I feel that society is actually the old rules don't seem to apply in as much the same way as they used to. And I think recent politics is
has proven that out.
Example of that, so we do have people who are much more willing to say, hey, yeah, I do want a Bigfoot candidate, and I want them to ask the Bigfoot questions,
That's not an unfair point. That's a very interesting point. Like, has politics changed enough now that we do want a Bigfoot candidate? Like, that's interesting. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, some people do. All right,
let's bring in SGF, baby.
So Akashi, I'm gonna backstage real quick. If that's okay. We'll bring Stephen Greer on.
Yeah,
Claire, welcome to the show.
Stephen Greer.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
brother.
Okay, cool.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
You have great hair, but anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He does. What an asshole.
You guys said to wear wigs. I was like trying to prepare.
Woo!
Dang.
Done. Welcome.
All right, what's up?
What you got from Mataluni, Holmes?
I got some questions, man.
Ooh.
I got serious questions.
Ooh.
It may not be related to the topic.
We don't care. There is no
That's all right.
topic.
Cool.
Bring it.
All right. So, Michael Mataluni,
Yes, sir. Stephen Greer's Flair.
is it awkward around Rather Be Squidding now that he stole your co-host role on UCR? You guys still talk?
That's some Richard
I
Doty
need
music
answers
right
by-
there.
Let me. I'm going to answer that with a question.
Okay.
You ready? Are you ready, Stephen
No.
Greer's Flair?
Okay.
Could you ever be mad at Rather?
Fair point.
No.
No, that's
No.
correct.
Okay, you win.
That is correct, and that is
Well, that
that
was
is the
my
answer.
one question, and you kind of blew that out of the water.
Sorry about that.
got
That's
another
a good
one.
thing. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I was
Here's,
hoping you
rumor.
got a follow up because this dude, he's on point tonight with all that booze. Go ahead.
Come
Oh,
on,
all right.
Bring with it. Kristen's actually making me a cocktail
Woo!
right now.
Kristen
All right,
Mataluni, come on here.
She's not in here. She can't
So,
also
buddy,
hear you. You remember how earphones
I hear
work, right?
that there's a picture.
Mataluni,
around
you go.
All the time. We talked about it earlier.
I'm coming.
We did. We totally did.
floating.
She's like, yeah. Sorry, Stephen. Go swear.
Oh, it's
Okay.
cool. We're all drinking. It's all good.
Yeah. And rather, man, I want to have a beer with that guy. I need
I do
to.
too.
Me
Yeah.
too, man. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Cool,
Okay,
dude.
go ahead. Stephen Greer's Flair.
He's the smartest.
What's your
Dreadlock.
second question?
Did you ever have dreadlocks?
Shut the fuck up, DJ. What?
Is this true? Did you have dreadlocks at one point? I mean,
I did. Yes, that is
Lie.
correct. That is correct. I had dreadlocks when I was 20 years old. I started
20.
dreading my hair in college, and
No
then,
pun intended.
Yep, as you said, went out and hiked the Appalachian Trail, and then my wife and I were actually foster parents. We lived in Oregon, and we were foster parents. And when we were going, when we were getting our certification to be foster parents, eventually Kristen was like, it's time to cut this off. Like, I don't know what our foster kids will think if they see you with dreadlocks. We can't be smoking weed in front of them. Like, you got to cut it off. And I was like,
The Italian
ended up
Bob
cutting-
Marley.
So I
Do
ended
you
up
have
cutting off the
pictures?
dreadlocks.
where
and,
are the
grew up-
pictures, Mataluni?
Oh, you're in the Discord, right? I've put pictures in the Discord.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, I'll send you pictures.
Cool.
I'll share them
Alright.
on the tweeters, and I'll tag you in them.
Yes, we need
All
evidence.
right, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, man. We got to bring it real, man. Don't play.
Yeah,
Nice.
no. I
Alright.
totally had dreadlocks. Now they were white boy dreadlocks. They were like handmade, like
Oh yeah.
dreadlock. Like they
Offspring.
weren't. Yeah, they weren't like beautiful dreadlocks. And Kristen will tell you all about how not beautiful they were.
Yeah,
Dreadlocks
I
aren't supposed to be
would love to
beautiful.
see photos, Mataluni.
Yes.
Nope. No offense.
We want pictures.
Yeah.
No.
But, and you know what, Nathan? Nathan-
Fuzzy. I don't know if you guys will believe them.
I'll
we
blow
actually
them
found
up.
we found a little bit of a pressure point, Nathan, because when I suggested that Rather was smarter than Michael, I think we found a little bit of a pressure point.
He said.
So
So
we'll-
DJ.
We'll
Oh,
put
he made a face.
we'll put the needle in right there.
Well, that's done.
Come on, that's like saying Exo Academia is smarter than Nathan. He's not going to be offended. Oh wait, I think I just got fired.
Not,
My
Are you
match
doing
at
this?
401k
Is
just
it
got
just-
turned off. So- All right, Stephen Greer's Flair, please pimp your channel.
Yes.
And
Stephen
tell
Greer's
us
Flair,
about
please.
what you've got going, because you've got a new YouTube channel. Please tell us about it.
Oh, my channel. Oh yeah, no, it's still in the works. I'm putting all my random animations on there
nice.
that I've made. My Theater of Doom. I eventually plan to do interviews and have a co-host and all that stuff, but work in
Cool.
progress.
Okay. Well, if Nathan
Yeah.
fires me, I'll come over there.
You'd be looking for
all
him to
right.
get- actually. So.
Can
Yeah.
we check it out now, or is it? Do you have animations up now, or?
I have all
You
the
have to wait.
animations up, yeah, actually.
Nice.
So you can check them out whenever.
No,
What's the channel? What's it
Yeah.
called?
How do we find it?
It's
Yeah.
called. Is this a family channel?
I
It's fine.
don't encourage a lot of cursing, but if you must.
Let her rip.
Okay, well, the channel name is Flair's Unexplainable Channel, which stands
Oh, cool.
FUC.
Oh, wait a minute.
see.
I don't
You know,
I don't get it. What's all right?
I don't. It's Foos. Welcome
Okay.
to Food. I'll be
We-
your
we-
host today.
We will put you in the show notes. And I really want to thank you, Stephen Greer's Flair, because one of the pleasures of doing this show is really to connect with people that are just, really positive and people that are bringing something into the space. And I don't care if you have 10, 12 followers or 10,000. I mean, look at Mataluni. So thank you very much for coming on and speaking with us. And I look forward to speaking with you again.
Yes.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Namaste.
Stephen Greer's Flair, thank you so. It was so good to see you in the
Good
flesh.
to see you.
Man.
Thank you. Namaste.
Later, brother.
Peace.
Namaste, bitches.
Man.
Hey man,
Sorry.
don't play with yoga, man. Now you've gone too far.
Some shots fired over there, Madeline.
Yeah.
Dude, I
What's
will
wrong with this
downward
man?
dog up in ya.
Well, we'll see because I may do. You know what, Mike? I may do a hashtag UFO Twitter yoga practice, and we'll see if you turn up and if you have any game. So we'll find out.
Okay.
I
Hey,
know Nathan's got game. We'll see
Oh,
if you
yeah.
got game.
So,
Okay.
game.
challenge accepted.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, Mike, something that Akashi, Chris, and I were kicking around was the idea of a summertime Southeast USA hashtag UFO Twitter get together in a central location based on the density of population of our family here, if you will.
I love it.
What do you think of that idea? And would you be interested in attending
Of course,
something like that?
of course,
A public park for safety,
of course. But I have a feeling that I have. I have a feeling that like so many are East Coast and so many are West Coast that we're going to end up meeting in Oklahoma or something.
Or Austin.
Well,
I kind of thought,
not
Nathan, you and I talked about Austin just because one of the cool things is you can get to the outskirts, because what I thought about is I pictured drinking, eating. Hey, James, what's up, brother? What's up, Paisan? Jay.
What's up, James?
And we thought about the possibility of making stargazing part of it, where if we could get out away a little bit and then actually go look at the stars and talk. So that I'm just throwing.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm just throwing things out there for a weekend. We could do a little bit of each.
I like it.
love it.
Yeah.
So
book
you'd
it.
be interested in that?
I would. Yeah,
Okay.
we've been talking. We've also been talking about going out to LA. Lou wants to do a UCR week where we're like we do a theater, we do a bar. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm all about getting up and meeting some UFO Twitter folks.
Got to do it.
Okay, then we'll coordinate with you, Akashi, Chris, and Nathan, myself, and anybody else that has ideas. Just DM us and we'll start trying to put it together, because we're on the precipice of winter, so it's a good time to plan for summer.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Such a planner. Such a planner.
Hey, man, I was paid to do that in the Air Force, man. I was a mission planner. So anyway, let's bring in what other questions that we have from the audience, because I believe Grant had another question.
I don't know if he did, but if he did, he's welcome to post it. I will put it up. But I have a question. I'm going to switch gears just slightly. Determinism. What do you think about it?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. All right, so bring me back to my philosophy minor days in college. For those of you who don't know, determinism means, and you're going like this, life is predetermined. Everything that has happened will happen, and your entire life, every decision you make has already been laid out in front of you. And you're destined to make those decisions. So I could dig on determinism if we're talking about a multiverse where every possibility exists and you're taking all of them.
Yes. Okay. Nice. Escape hatch there. I like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like Uhtred of Bebenberg, who said, "Destiny is all."
That's right.
The Viking credo.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think the universe is too dynamic to be deterministic. I think there's just too much happening and it's all moving so quickly. And from a human perspective, I think that, we now that doesn't mean I strictly believe in an unlimited free will. Just because I don't believe in determinism doesn't mean I believe in free will. So I actually fall somewhere in the middle here, because I think that, am I free to not go to the bathroom when I have the urge? No. Am I free not to drink water when I'm thirsty? No. So I don't have completely free will to start with. I have physical demands on my consciousness that require those needs are required to be filled, period.
Sure.
So I can't have complete free will. Am I free to choose? To a certain extent, yes, but I could have been born into a very rich family. I could have been born into a very poor family. So there are so many things that so many environmental factors that put pressure on free will that I can't be a sole free will person. But that also doesn't mean I believe in pure determinism either. I think there's a spectrum. And that's why, like, I hate politics. Oh, well, I do love to argue politics, but I hate politics so much because it's all black and white.
Sure.
And you can't. It's like you can't have any sort of perspective. There's no spectrum allowed in politics, and I think that's a huge problem. And I think that's part of the issues of polarization in our country today.
Michael, is not life as we know it in the United States, around the world, and man, we stop making noise when you're trying to drink, Mataluni. Go ahead. He'll wait till I start talking again.
He's got a bit of a drinking problem.
He does have a drink. You know what? I'm going to join him.
That's an airplane for those of you.
I love it, man. I love what kind of energy he brought to that. It's great. He's like, if DJ's call me by my last name, I'm gonna bring some energy up in there.
Bro,
but no, seriously.
You set the stage. You framed it properly. You let me know with your body language what kind of interview you wanted, and I'm just here to deliver. I don't have free will on this. I'm just here to deliver.
Right.
But what I meant to say, that the metaphor that I like to use that Nathan really likes, is that our life is in the gray.
Yes.
If you are black or you're white, you're probably way at the extreme on something, but most of life, and you would notice I said the word most because you and I had that chat about absolutism, is lived in the gray. And I think we could look at the phenomenon from the same level. So you have these people that are like, oh, there's nobody from the government that's truthful. It's all a lie. Everything's a conspiracy. And you have these people who like anything the government says is true. But the truth is in the gray somewhere along that spectrum. Do you think that's a fair characterization of life as humans?
I do. I really do. I mean,
wait, we agree?
There we go.
Ooh.
Time to end the show. Yep.
I don't like how this feels.
Sure you do, Mike. Our friendship is just beginning. It's just. I'm going to use the words of Chicago. It's only the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
That was foreshadowing, actually, but that's something else. Go ahead.
I like that. Yeah. So again, we're just at the beginning of this extraordinary friendship. But that being said, I can still agree with you. Even though we're just at the beginning. That everything's a spectrum, and we all land somewhere. And again, the dynamic nature of the universe leads me to constantly believe everything's always in flux, right? And again, going back to the incentive base, like everyone in the government is incentive based, right? Every human being is incentive based. You go get a job because you need money. It's an incentive to go to work. You want to be a good dad because you want your kids to grow up in a way that makes them happy. That's an incentive. Their happiness is an incentive for you.
Sure.
So everything, beyond money is incentive based. So, when you think about that from that nature, then you got to remember that there's all these different people in the government who have very different incentives and they're not aligned. And so to entertain this idea that everything is this massive conspiracy driven by this extraordinary hierarchy, I don't know, man. I don't buy it. I find if you're better off looking for idiocracy than you are looking for conspiracy. You're far more likely to find it.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't assume a conspiracy when incompetence will suffice.
Will do. Exactly.
Nathan, I don't have the RGB color spectrums in front of me, but let's suffice it to say there are a lot of many shades of gray in between black and white.
Oh yeah.
Oh, can I comment on this comment?
Go ahead.
Peter Becker.
Please.
Says, like, I am not to blame. I have no free will as an excuse for bullshit we do. Like, I don't agree with that either. So I'm not saying we don't have agency. We all have agency.
We have agency,
but we're all
of
dealing
course.
with different environments, and we're all dealing with different levels of have. And so I think it's important to recognize that, but it's not an excuse just to be a dick, right? Like,
Apathetic,
or just do whatever you're right. Like you have responsibility, you have some free will, but you also have environment to overcome. So you, like you said, and I'm not liking how much I'm agreeing with you, DJ, but you said
this is not
that
good.
There is no absolutism. There's no, there's no black, there's no white. It's a spectrum of gray, and we've got to figure out, like, and again, like, I'm one of these lefty libertarians. Like, I'm all about stay the hell out of my business. Let me do what I want. But at the same time, I want to see a social safety net. Like, that's just who I am. Like it or not, take it or leave it. I'm a lefty libertarian. I believe in a social safety net, and I believe leave me the fuck alone. Let me do what I want as long as I'm not hurting somebody else. That being said, I recognize that I'm in a position in life where I have, come from some challenges, but I also had a lot going for me. And especially growing up in the United States and having opportunities and having an entrepreneurial spirit and mind, like a lot of kids in poverty don't have that. And they didn't have a parent who taught them that. And they didn't have this who taught them that.
Hey, Mike.
Yo.
Think about a track, but it doesn't go in a circle. It goes straight. So you're on an Olympic track, and so the starting positions are different. Like, you have a bracketed starting position. So you're way back here if you're on the inside track. You're over here if you're on the outside track. And it just spiders up diagonally at some sort of a 45-degree angle. But imagine that track is straight. And that's what life is that you and I, and maybe perhaps Nathan, started on that side of the track where we're on that front bracket way out there. But someone who grew up in a disadvantaged background, someone who's a person of color, someone who didn't have access to proper role models growing up, is on that inside track. But the fact is that the track is straight. It's a sprint, and they're not going to get to the finish line before us necessarily, only because by virtue of the fact of their starting position is way back here.
That's a great analogy, and that's why I think it's so important for us to reach back and and play the fucking it's a baton, right? Like help the person get up to where you are. Like, equality is not a piece of pie. There's enough for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so
unless you're gonna ask a question, go ahead.
No, Nathan, if you want the last question, we got to get Mike out of here. Mm-hmm. It's been an hour and a half. So basically, if you want the last question, Nathan, please, that's all yours. And then we'll have the surprise.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to be as surprised as you will be. Exactly. All right. So it's
I'm doing that, by the way. I'm doing that with irony. My kid said, if I ever use these buttons and I'm serious about it, like, put a gun in my mouth and just be done with it. Like, they said, you can use those stupid buttons, but they better be done ironically. And so,
and you know what, Mike, you're around older people, so it's okay. I'm 54. I assume you're younger than I, right?
Slightly, right? Just barely.
Okay, and let's bring on Akashi Chris for, if you would, please.
Perfect.
For this last event that we're going to... Hi, Akashi.
I have no idea what's about to happen. I don't know what I signed up for. I now believe associate producer means Guillermo to...
Yes.
Guillermo.
Welcome, Guillermo.
I believe that's my job now. We'll see what happens now.
May I ask my question, DJ? Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
All right. So, and I think it's going to hint back to what you talked about at the beginning of the show that I wanted to talk about. So,
please.
So Mataluni,
yes, sir.
How in an asymmetric relationship, and I consider the phenomenon to be an asymmetric partner to humanity. Right?
Dude, wow. Way to frame that. That hit me pretty deep. But go on.
All right. So we are not playing we're not playing the same deck of cards.
Yep.
And they at least have some capability that we do not. So they have it's an asymmetric relationship, and asymmetric relationships exist in human relationships. It's not something new, but what would it take for us to have a sense of trust in the phenomenon. And if it were to present us with a technology or information.
Can you do me a favor so I don't have to frame this? Can you frame what you mean by the phenomena?
Sure. All right. So maybe I'll make it simpler rather than more, sort of nebulous, because it's such an umbrella topic. But let's say I'll just use one of the hypotheses. There's an extraterrestrial intelligence. It's got advanced spacecraft. It's got, these incredible capabilities, could be anywhere on the planet in seconds.
Thank you for
It
that.
can control the way it control how we think. It can phase through walls, whatever. It's got these amazing powers.
Float and all this good stuff.
Yeah. So if it lands on the White House lawn and says, "Hey, I've got this knowledge about the universe, or here's how I could help you with XYZ," how do we trust it? What are things that we would be looking for to establish trust in that relationship?
Are you familiar with Descartes' demon?
Yes, the Laplace's demon, right?
So the idea is that you've got the universe it's constantly trying to trick you, right? It's all a predetermined set of rules to make you fail, and there is nothing you can do about it. So if you approach it from that perspective, and the relationship is so asymmetrical, what do you really have to lose at this point? Because they're already here. They've already landed. They've already shown what they're in possession of. Right. So you might as well just go with the flow, because there's no way to prove or disprove their abilities or to prove or disprove why you should trust them. But they're here and they have the abilities. The relationship is so asymmetrical. I don't think you have a choice.
Right. You're at a power disadvantage, and it may take centuries to where you have enough power. The asymmetry is reduced. Now, you may in the future decide that, we got duped a couple of centuries back by this thing. Yet now we have unlocked we have either been given or have unlocked similar capability, and it could be a little bit time for retribution.
Or you just go fuck with less evolved societies.
Wait, Nathan, you mean after the conscripted service, where we're pushing that little grinding wheel around like Conan?
Exactly. No, exactly. When I find other Stone Age civilizations.
We had an interview with Avi Loeb today, and he was like, I was not a Star Trek fan, and then I just, like, a little piece of my heart died. But
that's a problem.
That being said, like, I've always been fascinated by the do no harm prime directive of the nature of Star Trek, and so that's kind of where I fall on this. Is that I would hope that the phenomena or these advanced species, if they are in fact visiting us, that they would be coming from a similar perspective, where they're trying to observe, potentially support without being without harming. So, I'm an optimist. What can I say?
I think Nathan, though, has in that conversation. I didn't mean to cut you off, Nathan, but I think you do bring up some interesting points to this that I hadn't thought of, and Nathan has some concerns about this, and I think that was very evident in our conversation, Nathan.
No, I mean, I am concerned about it, because
what do you think, Nathan? Do you think we are in fact being visited by an asymmetrical advanced alien species?
Potentially is what he's saying.
Why don't you let Nathan answer the question?
Be
DJ?
quiet, Matt. We didn't ask you, Mataluni. Sit back and have another drink.
This is the box.
Have a
me right here.
Have a drink on me, ACDC. Go ahead, Nathan.
I love every time either DJ gives me shit or I give DJ shit, the look on Akashi's face is mwah.
It's fantastic.
Mwah.
Bravo, Mataluni. Bravo.
I'll give
It's going off the rails. I think
I'm listening, Nathan, even though DJ won't. Go ahead.
Evidence of an asymmetric relationship here. My concern, and I've tried to ask.
Speaking of asymmetric relationships,
right? Exactly. I've tried to pose this question to Lou, and I posed it in a way that just was totally misinterpreted. But
Lou was like,
"Wait,
block.
which Lou?
Lou Elizondo. So
Okay.
that was on me, not on him.
Jimenez was like, "Can I put it in front of a senator's desk?" No, it's over. We're not even entertaining it. Mataluni has infected me. Go ahead.
So my concern is this. So we are advocating for a position of greater engagement. At the very least, we're advocating for a position of greater awareness, right? So we're trying to increase awareness of what is happening so that we can study it. At least that's the premise. But any kind of increase in awareness and study is an increase in the level of engagement with whatever this happens to be. Now, as an intelligence officer, someone who is trained in assessing your adversary and what your adversary is capable of doing, and I'm using that word loosely. I'm not making a judgment that they're necessarily adversarial,
Right?
But they're across the chessboard from us, perhaps. If you're assessing their capability, I would like to think that before we advocate for a move of one of the chess pieces, if you will, we have a sense in which we know how they might respond. It would be really poor of us to just sort of like lead out with our bishop all of a sudden and then know that we just exposed the queen and they're going to just, cut our legs out from under us. So I'm putting a lot of trust in the initiative here that this is a worthwhile endeavor to make. Now, as you pointed out, and I kind of agree with you, we honestly may not have a choice here. If they're already here, we don't have necessarily a lot of bargaining power to disengage from.
But your point, dude. Wow, I hadn't even considered that.
Nor did I.
Ignore it.
I
ignore
never.
it, because if you ignore it, right? Because the fact that we're putting engagement and energy into it exposes us to playing the game, and we could potentially make a wrong chess move if we're not playing chess. They haven't destroyed us yet, and we're not playing chess. If we start playing chess, does that expose us to greater risk? That's such a freaking good point.
And to be honest with you,
is that what you meant by that? Was that your point?
That is my concern.
I have never considered that.
I see. Now you know why I have hard.
Now I know
emojis.
why. Now I know. Now this is not an asymmetrical relationship.
No. That's
breaking news right there. Breaking news.
You heard it first.
You heard it first.
Now you know why I got him as my co-host. I don't know if you're aware of this, Mike, because you probably didn't watch our last episode.
Go ahead.
You didn't watch our last episode with.
Don't assume things.
Well, obviously, because you don't know how we came to be. So I can assume. I think that's an educated.
You should write a
assumption.
song about it.
So I will. Actually, that's going to come in a minute. But Nathan was a caller when I had Andy McGrillen on, and we heard him talk for about 35 seconds. And I was like, "Oh my God, I got to talk. I got to DM this guy. He's got to be on my. Dude. He's got to be my. He's got to be my co-host." And so I, DM'd him. He DM'd me, and we were under another show name at that point. Luis had been on a couple of times under the old show name, and that's how Nathan and I got together. The guy's amazing. I do have heart bubble emojis over my head when he talks every time, and so it's a great relationship. So now. Fist bump to everybody.
Where's
Akashi.
that surprise?
So, man, I love Mataluni.
Are you making balloons? What are you doing?
I don't know, but I thought he was doing qigong kung fu, but anyway, he's already getting booked for another episode, so that's gonna happen.
Done.
Sweet.
But what we want to do, Mataluni, is we're in a situation with our community where there's a lot of fracturing. But what this group tries to do, what you try to do, what a number of us in this space try to do, is to bring people together to show positivity. And we're making a lot of ground right now based on the Senate, the Gillibrand resolution to House Resolution 4350, et cetera, et cetera. So we're in a great spot. So what I thought we would do to close the show, other than to talk about how great your show is and how great you are, which is all true, and shout out to Kristen Mataluni, Rather Be Squidding, Luis Jimenez, who finds my jokes to be about like contracting influenza, but I love Luis a lot.
Dude, you have me cracking up, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You're pretty. You're pretty funny. I'm just gonna be. I love
you, Luis. and just tell me classic Cuban or medianoche, and we'll get to that next time we have him on. And I wanted to sing a song, so we're gonna have a little bit of a sing along to Bon Jovi. So, Mike, being that you're a musician,
Hans Guillermo.
okay,
I don't know what I signed up for. I'm so scared right now.
you signed up to sing. So this is a song that we're dedicating. This is a song we're dedicating to hashtag UFO Twitter on behalf of Nathan, Akashi, Chris, Singularity, Mike, and myself. All right,
Here we go.
Let's get something.
Am I supposed to sing?
Yeah, all of
You're
us are
supposed
gonna
to
be
dance.
singing.
Oh,
Now-
we're all singing.
Yeah. All right, now wait, hold up. We got to bring it to the end. So all you guys,
can't
somebody's
hear.
got to sing backup. Can't hear?
Okay.
I can do sounds.
What is the song?
Living on a prayer.
Is this the boss? Oh, this is okay.
He's down on love. It's so tough. Why are we doing this? Working for a man.
She brings
Yes,
Sing the backup, Mike.
We got doesn't difference if we make it or not. We got each other. That's a lot. We'll give it a shot.
Halfway there. Sing
This is bad karaoke. Living on a prayer.
My hand.
hand.
We'll make it, I swear. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, there we
I'm
go,
done,
guys.
dude.
That's-
I'm fried.
Next
over.
time, just let me look up the lyrics.
I
Let
know,
me.
I know.
Just
I was gonna try to bring the karaoke in, but then I was like, okay, we might get
I
slapped.
thought it was
Right.
one verse. I
All
thought it was
right, are
one
you
verse.
ready? Okay, guys.
It's fantastic.
All right, just the chorus.
That was beautiful.
We
Thank you.
gotta hold on to
What we got.
It doesn't
doesn't
make
really
a
matter
difference
if we
make it or not.
We
We got
got
each other.
That's
a
lot for
love.
We'll
Give it a shot.
We got to practice.
Yes,
We gotta practice.
As
A
associate
lot.
producer, I say we have
UFO
to
Twitter, that's
practice.
for you, baby. We gotta stay together.
Breaking news.
We're
Breaking news.
Hey, we're
That's-
halfway there.
We would sing it.
Hey,
We're halfway there.
Hey.
Living on a prayer.
hey, we're halfway there, man.
We are.
But we're living on a prayer right now. And Lou and Christopher finna bring that home with Kirsten, Gillibrand, and Marco. What's up, Holmes? Bring it home. Jimenez gonna call you on the phone. Hey, Marco, man, let's go, baby. Sign your name across his heart and the resolution.
Yes.
So, a little Terrence Trent D'Arby for you there. All right.
I love it.
You know what? This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
It was. It was. I definitely want to
Thank
do
you,
this
guys.
again.
Okay, Mike. When you need to pick me up, you're welcome on the show. We had a lot of fun. I love the verbal barbs. I love Nathan. Akashi. I mean, basically, the universe loves Akashi. I think
Dude.
there's like people on Zeta
Akashi is chef's
Reticuli.
kiss.
Yeah.
Chef's
I love you
kiss.
guys.
Bravo, Akashi. Everybody loves you.
Good.
You're like
Everybody
a
loves the Akashi.
You're like a pasta
Akashi.
matriciana from Roma. So anyway,
I love DJ Nathan.
Nathan, man. All right, so
Thank you, Mike, for
I
everything.
just
It's
fell
awesome.
in love with this whole group here. Thank you guys. It's
Mike,
what a
pimp-
pleasure.
pimp all your business, please, Michael. Please. Pimp all your business, huh? And we'll put it in the show notes along with our friend Stephen Greer's flair. Is that not too? Can I get a? Man.
You can find
Now
me
you-
on Twitter at Singularity Mike. You can also find me on YouTube at the Singularity Lab. Make sure you follow us for the breaking stories in science, technology, and futurism. We also cover UAPs. We'll see you there. Love you guys.
Wait, but how could you forget? The Unidentified Celebrity Review.
And you can also
Mataluni's
find me
got
on
fun,
Fridays at the
man.
Unidentified Celebrity Review, KGRA. And you can find us, we actually have live people on our Discord chatting right now. So if you guys want to hang out, I might even pop in there for a minute. Maybe. We'll see. I'll let you know. But I love you guys. And we'll catch you on UCR or the Singularity Lab and on UFO Twitter and the Discord. And I'll be back here for sure. This was a blast.
Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen?
Yeah. All right. For Akashi Chris, Singularity Mike, my brother at A Wave Soul, Nathan. This is DJ saying one love. Peace out. And we'll see you down the road. Oh.